Hello and well met. This is Lavrin with the Fantasy Grounds Academy. Today we're going to build Raistlin as a level 3 Wizard of the Red Robes. We are going to use the Unearthed Arcana material that comes out every now and then from Wizards of the Coast. You can pick up this module on the Fantasy Grounds store for $1. And it is basically test material, so anything I make here is not official, but I'm going to give it a shot. The other thing I've done here is Matakure, one of our community members, has built an extension and a module for me to help emulate the moons for Kryn. This is also another extension, which is a moon tracker. So if you click on the calendar, if you have the correct things loaded in Fantasy Grounds, such as extensions and modules, went ahead and input the moon, so you have the period of days and then the duration of the weeks, basically. And then that will, as you advance the calendar, it switches the way that the moons are phased. So that can influence your game if you want to play like that. I just kind of just trying this out to see what it's like. But it looks pretty cool. The moon tracker is free, I believe, on the Fantasy Grounds Forge, and the extensions that I have were customized by Matakure. So if you want these, you're gonna have to contact me on Discord. So these are basically the moon phases, and then the calendar has been reworked so that it matches the Kryn calendar, which is very close to our own calendar, except you take out the leap year. So this is just kind of a thing that I'm doing on the side. But today we're going to try to build Raistlin. We're going to use the Unearthed Arcana that comes out every now and then. This includes the Kender and some other Knights of Solamnia and some other different things. But for right now, I'm just going to call him Raistlin. This is all going to be custom. It's not really anything canon. It's pretty much building it as best I can with the Unearthed Arcana and then going from there. So I'm going to put in the standard array for the ability scores. So in this case, for strength, I'm going to make that his dump stat. He never really was very strong. I'm going to give him, let's see, a 12 at least for his... 12 for his dex at least. We'll start there. Leave his charisma at 10. Actually, we'll do 13 for that. His con is probably going to be 10. Maybe we'll do 12 for his charisma, because he is pretty well spoken when he does speak. And then obviously his intelligence is going to be 15. Con is... Actually, I'm going to make his con 8. He wasn't very healthy. And then I'll just make his strength average. So 15, 14, so I guess we can put 14 there. 13 in wisdom, 12, 10, and 8. So 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. So that's his stats. So we got 10 strength, 14 dex, 8 con, 15 intelligence, 13 wisdom, and 12 charisma. So he's got quite a personality, so we can actually switch these two. So I'll take... Actually, it's not going to make any difference. I'll just leave those there. So that's that part of it. At the end of the video, I'll put a link to the Unearthed Arcana module if you're interested in that. That might be something that you would check out when you have time later. Also, happy Mother's Day to everyone out there if you celebrate that. If you're spending time with your family, that's great. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and start building this character based on the Unearthed Arcana. So if I go to my library and go to modules, I have a few modules loaded. As you can see, I have the custom Dragonlance calendar that was made for me, but I have just the 3 core books. I have some Dragonlance stuff that was made by Vodcard. If you guys ever watched his stuff, he does some pretty good Dragonlance work. It's on the DM's Guild. And then there's the Unearthed Arcana players on the DM side. I have Mordenkainen's and Xanathars and the player's handbook loaded just in case. But the main thing is the Unearthed Arcana players and the DM side. But I want to have some of the core base rules just in case I need to build something. Or you can use the SRD if you want. So the first step is the background. So I'm going to open up backgrounds. So I'm going to go to the character section. I'm going to collapse the library and player and the tools. I don't need those right now. So let's take a look at backgrounds. I'm going to drag and drop and go to the Unearthed Arcana players. So you have the Mage of High Sorcery background. So this gives them some languages and that sort of thing, and a feature called Initiate of the High Sorcery. So I'm going to drag and drop this into the backgrounds area, and as I do so, it'll add those to the abilities area and also the skills area if there's any skills. So he gets Arcana and History from that background, which makes sense. Then you get 2 languages of your choice. I'll change those later. For right now, I think I'll just do Common and maybe Draconic, because I know later on he'll need that. So those are just initial choices there. So for race, we're going to make him human. So let's go to the races banner and see if there's any Dragonlance specific ones. So here's Dragonlance races, and then here are the Unearthed Arcana versions. So not really anything in particular for the actual for human, but we do have some races here that Vodcard made in case you want to do a centaur or a halfling or minotaur. I think we're going to use a human variant, so I'm going to just go ahead and click all. I'm going to go down to the human. And I'll just do a regular human. That's so much simpler. So that'll give me +1 in all these different ability scores. Just a generic basic human. So that adds anything here. So there's your build up there of all your stats. So he's got a 11 strength, 15 dex, 9 con, 16 intelligence, 14 wisdom, and 13 charisma. So that is that. Okay, so now we're going to do class. So I'm going to open up the class and level area and open up the classes banner over here on the right. I'm going to drag and drop down to Dragonlance classes and see there's a knight and a noble. So I don't think we need the noble class, and we don't need the knight class. So I guess we're going to be choosing either a wizard or a warlock, something along those lines. Well, let's take a look at what the high sorcery thing says. So it says you gain this feat for picking this background. So prerequisite. You receive training from high magic users affiliated with the mages of high sorcery. Choose one of the 3 moons of Kryn, each of which associated with a distinct type of magic. The black moon, Nuitari, the red moon, Lunatari, or the white moon, Solinari. You learn 1 cantrip and 1 first-level spell based on the moon type that you choose, as specified in the lunar table. It says you can cast the chosen first-level spell without a spell slot, and you have to finish a long rest before you can cast it in this way again. You can also cast the spell using any slots you have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make this build based off of wizard. So I'm going to go over to, let's see. Let's check out Unearthed Arcana first. So here's the DM's Guild. Here's the Unearthed Arcana Wizard. So let's see what we got here. There's a Sorcerer. What's that all about? Yeah, so we're going to do the Unearthed Arcana version of the Wizard. So I'll just drag and drop that. Let's see if we have any other choices. Yeah, so here's the player's choices. Let's take a look at this. So there's an enhanced wizard. Yeah, I'll just use the one from the Unearthed Arcana just in case. So I'll drag and drop that into the classes here. And then you get 2 skills. So I don't want to choose the same one. So we already have Arcana and History. So we go with maybe Religion. And let's go with Investigation. So that way he has some skills there, research skills. Okay, and then we have the wizard build already. So now what we're going to do is level him up to level 3. So let's see what happens here. So take that, move that aside. I go ahead and drag and drop this into itself, so it would go up to level 2. So this is the part where it might be a little different for you. So depending on what you choose for your build. So you get to pick an arcane tradition. I would say maybe necromancy for this build. I don't know. It depends. So we'll do that just for, or actually conjuration might be a thing. Okay, so or abjuration. Okay, so that's for just to test the build out. And then I'm going to go ahead and level him up one more time to level 3. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take a look at some of the spells that he gets for this particular build. So he already gets one bonus one, so I'm going to make a group or a section on the back here for this particular build, but I want to give him a little bit of equipment first, just in case. So not really as important as what we're going to do after that, but I'm going to go ahead and open up the campaign area. Go to parcels. Actually, just go to items. I'm going to just give them a quarterstaff and some robes, spell book, some basic stuff. So quarterstaff, I'm going to go ahead and drag this into his inventory. Let's give him a dagger just in case. So here's a dagger. And then we're going to get him a spell book. Definitely want that. And then a pouch, which kind of makes sense for him. And of course, we will get him some robes. Yep, so there's the robes. Don't think he needs a whole lot more. I mean, he's got pretty much all he needs. We don't want to overload this and spend too much time on equipment, but basically he's got the very basics there. He might need a spellcasting focus, but I'm going to wait and see how this build turns out. And of course, I'm going to actually change this to 1 for the ammo, and then his quarterstaff, he usually uses it two-handed. So we can just change that. All right, so let's take a look at what he gets normally for his spellcasting. So you have some tables here to go by. So at 3rd level, he gets 3 cantrips plus 4th level and 2 second level spells, in addition to whatever his school gives us. So I'm going to go to his abilities and Initiate of High Sorcery. I'm going to notate red robes. And then I want to take a look at the spellcasting thing here. So, okay, that makes sense. Yep. Okay, so there's that. Now I want to take and go to this Initiate of the High Sorcery. And there's a feat that you get to help define the character. So if I go to the Abilities tab, and then I look on top, the feats is empty right now. So I want to open up this feat of High Sorcery. I'm going to drag and drop that into here. And what happens is it will add it to the character sheet. And then we'll take a look at what exactly you get. So based on one of the 3 moons, you can choose cast 1st level spell without a spell slot. So he's going to be of the, basically he's going to be the red wizard. So that'll be Lunatari. So you can pick 1 wizard spell from the School of Divination or Transmutation. So if I go over to the spells area, I can look at these spells and let's go with 1st level. And then we want to pick the source as wizard. So we're filtering these out. And it says you can do abjuration or transmutation or divination. So let's see. So expeditious retreat. Expeditious retreat. Okay, so this is a, let's see, what is this? Transmutation. So he can actually take that. So that would be a good thing. Fog Cloud is a conjuration, so that's not. Let's see. ID insinuation. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to give him that. I'm just going to give him this expeditious retreat. So instead of dragging and dropping this into his regular actions, I'm going to make another group. So I want to go to the Actions tab, click on the star for Add Power. When actually we're just creating a group, but that's just the default name of the group. So we'll call this Order of the Red Robes. So anything to do with that will go in here. Okay, so there's Order of the Red Robes, just as a note. And then we're going to take this spell and drag and drop it in there. And what it's saying is that you only get to use it once per rest. So let's take a look at that. So it says choose one from guidance. Oh, yeah, you get message or prestidigitation. I'm going to do prestidigitation, so that's a free cantrip that we get. So I'm going to select 0 level spells, and I'm going to go with the presto thing here, so that's your freebies. Then after that, you choose all of your regular spells. So that's cool. You get a bonus thing there. And it says that your spellcasting ability for this is Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma when you select this feat. So in this case, we're going to do Intelligence. And if anything needs to be keyed off of Intelligence, I'm going to change the group to Intelligence. That way, just in case, if any saves or anything like that. So that will take care of that. And then, let's see. You can cast it without a spell slot, but you have to finish a long rest. Okay, so I'm going to go to preparation mode. I'm going to change this to 1. And it'll be daily for the spell. So that will calculate properly. It will return after he does a long rest. So that when you're done using the spell, you can just click it off. And then this is a bonus or a reaction, actually. So put a little note there. So if you need to get the heck out of dodge, that's a spell right there. All right, so that's that. So it's not really that difficult, actually, to do this. So receive the training. Yep, we get that. Okay. So now I get to pick all of his regular spells. So he gets a few first level cantrips, so we're already in that area. So I'm going to go with light, because I know he had that in one of the books. He had a way to cast light, so definitely want that. So I'll go ahead and drag and drop that where the spell slots is, and that's going to be his one of his cantrips. I'm going to give him Mage Hand, which kind of makes sense. And then maybe one kind of offensive thing, so probably Firebolt. So that kind of makes sense for his build. So that way, if he got one offensive, one utility, and then one light spell, so that's pretty good. Now I'm going to go to his first level spells and take a look and see what's cooking here. So for this, I'm going to give him a few spells that would be, kind of useful for this kind of character. So Detect Magic, for sure, and that's a ritual, or it can be something that he does right away. And you do Feather Fall. I think that's one he'd used in one of the books. So Detect Magic, Feather Fall. We can go with Grease. And probably Magic Missile or Mage Armor. So Magic Missile, Mage Armor, and then maybe Sleep or something like that. Yeah, Sleep. Okay, so that's all of his first level spells. So he doesn't get to memorize all those. Those are just what he has in a spell book. And now we're going to go with a few second level ones. So I think I'm going to do, let's see. I'm going to do the Flaming Sphere. That's a cool one to have. Invisibility. Knock. Levitate. And maybe one other. Yeah, it looks pretty good, actually. I don't think he needs any more than that. So that's pretty good. He's got a good array of spells that he can pick from. So he's got quite a full spell book for his actual spells that he can pull upon. So the one that he gets free from the Order of the Robes is in a separate area because it changes. It is based on his his long rest type thing. The rest of them are going to go in the standard slots. So then when you want to actually prepare the spells, you can come in here and go to preparation mode. So I'm going to prepare Mage Armor, Sleep, and probably, I don't know, Featherfall, I guess. And then for the second level spells, I'm going to prepare Flaming Sphere and probably Invisibility. So those are the spells that he has ready to go in case anything comes up. And then when you're actually playing, you'll be in combat and actions mode. So there's the basic build here. So he's got 4 first level slots and 2 second level slots. And here are his Order of the Robes notation here. I want to take a look at the feat a little bit more. Let's see what else he has. And then I'll take a look at his abilities here. So Arcane Tradition. Oh, yeah, that's another thing he gets. So Arcane Tradition, he gets to... does he get any bonus spells? That's what I wanted to look at. School of Abjuration. Abjuration Savant. Yep, that's just part of his spellcasting ability. So I want to put some of these in his Order of the Red Robes area, so that way, see, when you get to second level, so this cuts down the time that it takes for him to add these type of spells to a spell book. And then he has the Arcane Ward, which is kind of cool. So that's another thing. And then I want to put them in the Order of the Red Robes just so it's all in one tidy area. So I'm going to go back to standard mode and group. Just going to copy and paste the name of the group into these sections so that they kind of all go under here so we can remember what he has. Projection Ward doesn't come till level 6, so he doesn't have that. Okay, so there's that. What else does he get? See, Spellcasting, Arcane Recovery. That's the other one. So you can regain one of his spells, basically, after a short rest. So we're going to take this and also drag and drop this into his order. So those are all his like special class abilities, basically, and then his regular spells. So there's that. So that will help build this in. And let's see, I think so Raistlin with an S, I left that out. Okay, so that's pretty much the majority of that build. I want to go into the reference manual, though, and take a look, see if there's anything else that I've missed. So if I go to the library, go to modules, I want to go and look at the Unearthed Arcana part for the DM and go to the reference manual. Take a look at the subclasses, and here's the Heroes of Krynn article. So it's playtest material. Oh, it's a sorcerer subclass. Oh, okay. So I see. So I didn't build the character correctly, so that sucks. But anyways, it's close enough. I did pretty good with what I had. So that's what I was afraid of. So let me go and take a look. So I want to take a look at how this would look as a sorcerer build. So same thing. I'm not going to worry about the stats right now. Going to definitely take the let's see, campaign, character. Yep, so we wanted the high sorcery. And for the race, we just picked a regular human. And then as for the class and level, we have to pick sorcerer. So I picked a wizard, which was wrong. But there was no real guidance other than this. So that, you know, there's no, when you're creating the character, you don't really know what's going on with it until you actually do it. But it's a sorcerer subclass, and then there's some special magic here for that. So shame on me. So there we go, sorcerer. So that's what we're going to pick. So I'm going to go to the character, go to sorcerer. So go to classes, and we want the sorcerer. And I'm in the Unearthed Arcana part. So let's go with that. So sorcerer, drag and drop that into the class window. And here's where you get your two things. So we don't want Arcana and History. So we're going to do Religion and Investigation, I think. Well, in this case, Deception, Persuasion, maybe. Nope, Insight. It's good. Okay. And then we're going to pick which of these is it going to be. So Lunar Magic. That's where I went wrong. Okay. So now we have the Lunar Magic subclass, and now we're going to just level him up. So he has at least 3 levels in that. Now let's take a look at his actions. So yeah, he's a little bit, pretty much the same thing. It's just that now that he has Lunar Magic, it's a little different. So Lunar Manifestations, there's a table. So this is where the moons come in. And then for, you get Moonfire, which is like a moonbeam. That's pretty cool. You get, let's see, Lunar Embodiment. So depending on what level you are, you can get these extra spells here for your Lunar Magic. And then a Lunar Boon at level 6. So he gets this Lunar Embodiment and Moonfire, which is basically like probably like let's see, you get a Sacred Flame spell. It doesn't count as your sorcery or your cantrip. So when you cast a spell, you get to target one creature. So that's cool. So you get Moonfire, which is nice. So Sacred, you learn the Sacred Flame. So there we go. So I learned something today. So the new class is based on sorcery, and it is called the Lunar, or like the Moon Sorcery. So that is what you need to pick when you build these. So 3rd level, you get Moonbeam, you get Darkness, and you get Blindness or Deafness, depending on what phase the moon is in. So if you have that lunar tracking, and you're using that in your game, you would get these bonus spells. So you learn additional spells when you reach certain levels in this class, as shown on the lunar table. Each of the spells counts as a sorcery spell for you, but it doesn't count against the number of sorcery spells you know. So that's pretty cool. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can choose what lunar phase manifests its power through your magic, full, new, or crescent. While in the chosen phase, spells of the associated phase in the lunar spells table can be cast once without expending a spell slot. Once you cast a spell in this way, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. So it sounds like you're getting like a bonus spell depending on what phase of the moon you're in. That's pretty cool. I like it. So that makes sense. All right. So anyways, that's basically all I want to do is check out how this is going to play out. And obviously I didn't build the sorcerer correctly, but I mean, I started with the wizard build, but anyways, that's pretty cool. So then at this point, I would just copy and paste over from the other character since I already have everything done there. And that would just make this a lot quicker. So you can actually take anything that you need or used from your other previous build and drag and drop it over on this character if you're the DM. So anyways, happy Mother's Day. Take care, everyone.